Movie Holics!
What up, guys? Kyler Wilson here, and today I'd like to talk to you about the Oscar nominations, and specifically what I think about the nominated films. In full disclosure, I haven't seen all the Oscar nominated films, and I'm not necessarily saying that these are my picks for the Oscars. It's more like who I think will win the Oscars based on things that I've heard. So, take this video for what it is. I'm not saying that I love this movie over this movie or so on and so forth. There are a couple cases where that is so, but this is mostly this is what I think is going to win. Now, I'm not going to cover every category, though, because some of the categories, like short animated film, never watched anything, So sound design, I'm not really, I'm not adept in sound design enough to really say whether or not somebody should win over another. So that being said, let's get right into the nominations. So first off, we have Best Original Screenplay, and the list reads Bridge of Spies, Ex Machina, Inside Out, Spotlight, and Straight Outta Compton. So unfortunately, I've only seen two of these, which were Ex Machina and Inside Out. Looking at it, I know Bridge of Spies really kind of, did well and people enjoyed it. Of course, Ex Machina did really good. Inside Out did really good. I've heard some great things about Spotlight, and I just watched Straight Outta Compton. What I would want to win is Ex Machina, personally, because I loved the film. But if I had to guess, I'm going to say Bridge of Spies is going to take it. So then for Best Adapted Screenplay, not original, but adapted screenplay, we've got The Big Short, Brooklyn, Carol, The Martian, and Room. You're going to see me laugh quite frequently about The Martian being on any of these lists. I've only seen The Martian of this category, and I really don't think that it stands a chance in hell. Based on everything that I've heard people talk about, I feel like not The Room, but just Room is probably going to take it. I don't really believe that The Martian deserves to be on this list. I really enjoyed the film, and when I say this list, I mean any of it. I enjoyed the film a lot, but it's like your typical blockbuster. Like, it's a safe hero's tale. Like, I just don't understand how it's on this list. Next we got visual effects, and we've got Ex Machina, Mad Max Fury Road, Star Wars The Force Awakens, again The Martian, which okay, fine, I get the nomination there, and The Revenant. That's a really good lineup, man. Ex Machina, like, the thing about Ex Machina was it was so low budget and it looked so real. As to where, like, things in The Force Awakens don't really look all that real. So I've got to, like, knock Force Awakens out almost immediately. Mad Max Fury Road, not all practical stunts, but a lot of practical stunts. Like, there were some visual trickery in there, but, man, it looked really good. The Martian, I mean, what was really, now that I think about it, what was really, like, all the visual effects in that movie? Because they shot, like, the environments were all practical. I guess the space stuff. And then The Revenant, of course, like, that's with the awesome bear. I, again, would want Ex Machina to win, but if I had to, like, pick, I think it's probably going to end up being Mad Max Fury Road. So I'm going to skip again. I'm going to skip sound mixing and sound editing. Again, not because it's not important. Sound is the most important, but my expertise doesn't lie in sound, even remotely. So I'm going to skip those. I'm going to skip short film, or short live action, and short animated. Again, I didn't see any of those, so I can't say, and I don't even know. I haven't heard anybody talk about them, so I have no clue what's going to win there. I'm going to skip production design, original song, original score, makeup and hairstyling, and foreign film. I didn't see any of the foreign films on the list, first off. And then, again, all the other categories are important, but for me to give you my opinion, I feel like I need to be at least somewhat skillful or knowledgeable in the category. And production design, song, original score, makeup and hairstyling. Maybe Monica can do a video on makeup and hairstyling, but I got nothing. So on to film editing. So this is a good lineup. We got The Big Short. Again, I haven't seen that, but I've heard some great things. And I kind of have an idea of like their cutting style and from the previews and from what people have told me. Mad Max, The Revenant, Spotlight, and Star Wars. Again, I haven't seen Spotlight either, but thinking back to the films that I watched out of this category, like The Revenant, I pretty much throw out because the edit wasn't the focal point at all. Same thing with Star Wars. Star Wars is kind of a bizarre one for me to be on this list. It's just a typically edited film. If I have to go with what I think the Academy would go with, I think it's probably going to end up being Mad Max. So there you have it. Let's see. Skipping documentaries. Again, I didn't see any of the documentaries that were nominated, unfortunately. I probably will at some point, but I didn't see any prior to this video, so skipping that. Going to Best Directing. This has been a really difficult subject for me always, because in my eyes, if it's like the best picture, right, the best overall picture, you'd think that the best director, or best directed, I should say, would be the same, because in order for it to be a best picture, the director is the one who's bringing this cohesion together. He's the one that, yeah, sure, production design is doing production design, and editing is doing editing, and cinematography is doing cinematography, but the director is overseeing all that, and he directly influences it. So it seems again to me that if it were the best picture, it would also be the best director. But that being said, they're two separate categories. Let's see, who do we have here? The Big Short, Mad Max, The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. I'm going to throw out Mad Max, not because it wasn't well directed. It was a visually awesome film, but its lack of story, which I think was a good thing for the movie. The lack of story also meant that there was an easier job directing, in my opinion. I know what The Big Short's about, and I know what people have said. I don't feel like this would be a best directed film. Room, again, I know what it's about and what people have told me, and I think like story-wise, it's probably gonna have an amazing run there. But I don't feel like, again, overall direction, I don't think would be there. Same thing for Spotlight. Again, knowing what it's about, I just don't feel like this would be a best directed film. The Revenant, on the other hand, I feel like, not only in my opinion, my own opinion, I think The Revenant is the best directed probably of these. I feel like the Academy is going to say that as well. So The Revenant. Skipping costume design. Again, I just the stuff that I can notice is good. I have no skill in it at all. I would really heavily require somebody skillful in that in my own productions to help me. So I'm gonna skip that. On to cinematography. I've seen 4 of these actually. We got Carol. That's the one I haven't seen. The Hateful Eight, Mad Max, The Revenant, and Sicario. So the Hateful Eight cinematography was really good. Its cinematography was so good that it made you kind of forget the cuts. Mad Max, the cinematography wasn't something that stuck out to me as being like just mind-blowing or anything. Sicario, again, that's just like a basic edited film. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not really sure why it would get nominated for best cinematography. Carol I haven't seen, but I just like from watching the previews, I kind of know the cutting style, or not just the cutting style, but the cinematography style. I think that Revenant is just a shoe-in here. Not only in my opinion, but what the Academy would go with. Those long sweeping shots and everything that they did, like 5, 6, 7 minute takes all in one. I can't imagine that the Academy would think that anything was better than that. So yeah, there you go. I'm gonna skip animated feature, because I think the only one that I saw was Inside Out. Out of those, I would bet money though, if I had to just like throw one out, I would say Anomalisa is probably going to take it, knowing what I know of it. On to actress in a supporting role. So we got Jennifer Jason Leigh, Rooney Mara, Rachel McAdams, Alicia Vikander, I believe is how you say it, and Kate Winslet. Based solely off the criteria here, Jennifer Jason, I just don't see how Jennifer Jason Leigh could do it with the Hateful Eight. I didn't see her movie, but based on what I know of all the actresses, I think, and not just the actresses, but the movies that they're in, I think Alicia Vikander is probably going to take it. That's who my money would be on for the Academy to take. On to actor in a supporting role. We got Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, Mark Ruffalo, Mark Rylance, and Sylvester Stallone. I personally don't think Sylvester Stallone can take it. His performance in the movie was good. I'm not feeling it. Christian Bale, I've heard a lot of people say that Christian Bale's performance was really good. Same thing with Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight, and then Mark Rylance. But man, I got to tell you again, not only just in my opinion, but what I saw Tom Hardy do in The Revenant, I think has to beat all of these. So I'm gonna say Tom Hardy. Actress in a leading role. Let's see. We got Kate Blanchett, Brie Larson, Jennifer Lawrence, Charlotte Rampling, and Saoirse Ronan. I think Saoirse is how you say it. Kate Blanchett for Carol, Brie Larson for Room, Jennifer Lawrence for Joy, Charlotte Rampling for 45 Years, which I've not even heard of, and then Saoirse for Brooklyn. Knowing what Carol, Room, Joy, never heard of 45 Years, but I looked up, sort of the brief description, and Saoirse, I think that for the content that she was portrayed, I think it's probably going to be Brie Larson. That's who I'm going with. Actor in a leading role, Bryan Cranston, blah. Matt Damon. It was just, what? Like, I mean, it just, I don't understand. Matt Damon didn't do bad, but best actor, like, for The Martian, he's just Matt Damon. I mean, like, he didn't convince me that he was Mark Watney. I mean, sure, he's Mark Watney because you say he's Mark Watney, but I mean, who did he blow away? I just don't, or better yet, who did he blow to get nominated? I don't get it. It's not an Oscar movie to me at all. It's not an Oscar-worthy performance. So anyways, moving on. I'm not trying to like rag on Matt Damon here. Leo DiCaprio, Michael Fassbender, and Eddie Redmayne. Eddie Redmayne, I can see why people would want to cast him. I haven't seen the film, what was it, The Danish Girl, where he plays transgender, I think transgender, how do you say that? Transgender woman? He's a man that becomes a woman. So, Bryan Cranston, I've heard his performance is good, but it seems a little like the movie in general just seemed a little too made for TV. Leo DiCaprio, I mean, clearly he probably deserves it. If I have to say though, it's probably going to go to Fassbender for Jobs. I think that it's probably going to go to Fassbender for Jobs. I want Leo to get it, but I think Fassbender's going to take it because everybody said that his, like, even though he looks nothing like him, said that his performance is just stellar. So probably Fassbender. Moving on. Let's see. We got we're to Best Picture. Yes. All right, so we got The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max, The Martian. Again, just like The Martian doesn't even set in with any of these films. And honestly, Mad Max, I mean, I don't really understand. I understand it more than The Martian, but The Martian just is not one of these movies. I just don't get it. The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. I mean, again, I know what everybody said about The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn. I saw Mad Max, saw The Martian, saw Revenant. I know what everybody said about Room and Spotlight, so I've seen 3 of the 8. The Big Short kind of tugs on some heartstrings, I think, but I think their comedy that they added might, knock them down a few notches. Bridge of Spies, no. Brooklyn. Mad Max and The Martian are just out, in my opinion. Room, the content is super deep. Spotlight, again, biopic. I mean, I hope The Revenant because I enjoyed the film so much. But based on everything that I know of the films, I think it's probably going to end up going to Room. So, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, those are my picks for the Oscars, guys. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? Make sure to let me know in the comments section below. As always, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud. Go to movieholics.net. You can leave us some questions there. We'll one of these days end up doing that Q&A that I keep promising. It's just been really, really busy. And that's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Deuces.